Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2022 Scholarship and Awards event. This evening, we are honoring our 2022 scholars and community leadership. The event will provide you with entertainment artists such as the Celebration Arts Theater's Kids Time program and Miss Teresa Keene. We would like to thank our sponsor, the ZBL Foundation. To begin our show, ladies and gentlemen, our masters of ceremony, Brother Kevin John Peters.
Well, thank you for that lively introduction there. I don't even know how I can follow that. That was amazing. But anyway, I'm going to try. Welcome, y'all, to the 2022 Scholarship and Awards event. We are so happy, so thrilled, so joyous to have you guys join us for this incredible event. We're going to have a good time tonight, y'all. I know y'all all looking on your devices and your screens because this is virtual. I get it. But don't let that take away from the excitement, the interaction and engagement that we are going to have tonight. So just pretend that it is in person. And I want to hear you guys. I want to feel your energy. I want y'all to pretend like you're in a Southern Baptist church where you're going back and forth. You're letting the pastor know how you feel about it, even though I'm not a pastor. But go ahead, let me feel. I want to feel the energy, even though we are still virtual. And just in case you're sitting there watching, wondering, who is this random guy sitting here talking? Well, allow me to introduce myself. Like the wonderful brother who did the intro said, my name is Kevin John Peters, and I have been a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, the best fraternity in the world, since spring of 2020. And I crossed the burning sands through Zeta Beta Lambda chapter here in Sacramento. Now, some of y'all may know us as Alpha ZBL or Sac Alphas, or just the code brothers of the 916, whatever it is. At any rate, we are so happy and so thrilled to have you guys be a part of this evening with us, because this ain't about me. This is about y'all, okay? I can see you guys through this here, so I know what you guys are doing and all that other good stuff. I have that sense. At any rate, I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering, look, we're entering summer of 2022. The pandemic is pretty much over. Why are we doing this virtual? Why are we doing this through Zoom? Well, the thing is, guys, you can never be too safe. And even though we're not quite 100% out of this pandemic, we want to make sure that we offer the safest possible way for us to go on with this program. And we want to be cognizant about what's going on out there as well. Let's be real, y'all. We have a lot of elderly brothers, or shall I say more experienced brothers here. And we want to make sure that we keep everyone safe. So we're doing it virtual again. But like I said, just because it's virtual doesn't mean y'all got to hold back. I still want you guys to be very much part of this. You can clap, you can shout, you can scream up and down, you can jump, whatever you do. Just feel free to engage with us on this. So, and let's just be real. When it comes to doing things virtual in the pandemic, I know we're all fatigued from the pandemic, but I know some of y'all don't like being around people anyway. I know some of y'all prefer the pandemic where you can just sit at home. Some of y'all don't want to be out touching, handshaking, and all that other stuff with people. So this is for you as well. This is all inclusive here. Reason why is because this program is all about encouraging and setting a solid foundation for our scholars who are about to go off into the world to higher education and matriculate and get education and do wonderful things where they're going. So we want to build a solid foundation as we enlighten, empower, and encourage our young scholars and college-bound scholars as they get ready to go off. Because let's be real, y'all. We know that school is not cheap. We know that college is not cheap. Heck, I'm still paying back school loans right now. So we want to make sure that we provide all the support that we can for our college-bound seniors as they get ready to go off and do wonderful things in the world like we know they will. So with no further ado, y'all, I'm sick of hearing me talking. I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing me talking. So we are about to kick this show off. And the only way for us to kick off this show is with a unique version of the National Black Hymn. And this is by the U.S. Army Field Band and 82nd Airborne Chorus. This is going to blow you guys away. Take it away.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun, let us march on till victory is won.
Wow. That was amazing. I definitely felt that. I know some of y'all were singing along with that as well, because I certainly was. Once again, that was the U.S. Army Field Band and 82nd Airborne Chorus. Phenomenal. And I also want to say at this time, thank you guys for your service. We appreciate that. And that was amazing. So much talent there. So much talent there. All right. Well, moving on. Speaking of talent, I'm going to talk about our talented chapter here, and that is ZBL Zeta Beta Lambda. Now, for some of you that may not be familiar with it, our chapter was founded in Sacramento back in 1954. And I talked a little bit about this earlier, but the idea behind this whole scholarship event was back a few years after it was founded. They decided to host an in-person event, and this was to honor those college-bound high school scholars who had won a citywide competition, along with honoring local individuals who executed strong community services. And we wanted to acknowledge, highlight, and celebrate these individuals. Now, the event was originally called The Brunch. The Brunch, that actually sounds kind of like a movie or TV show, The Brunch. But anyway, it was originally called that. And that was because it took place on a Sunday afternoon at a college or hotel ballroom where food was served. Now, the SAC Alphas would raise funds to assist our new scholars with their first year of college. And that's what this was all about. And we want to continue that tradition going in ZBL because, like I referenced earlier, going off to college is not easy. And as we all know, it is not cheap. I remember my transitional year going off to college when I had left Stockton, California, and went off to Atlanta to attend Morehouse College. And let's just be real, as a freshman going off into college, there's so many things you have to adjust to, and we're broke. We have all been broke freshmen in our dormitories wishing we had money at least for some decent top ramen. I'm not talking about the stuff, but you want that gourmet top ramen. So it's very difficult. So more than anything, we want to have this here to provide our college-bound high school seniors with something that they can take with them. And when I say take with them, something monetary that can help them out. Because the last thing we want them to have to worry about while transitioning into their freshman year is certain basic fundamental things that we can help out with. Books, things of that sort. Because we all know that transitional year, that freshman year, is nothing easy and nothing that's just a silver spoon. So we want to be that silver spoon to help these individuals. So that's what this is all about. And if you want to know, that's where these donations are going to. So we're so proud to keep this tradition going with Zeta Beta Lambda. And we thank all of you guys for your support and helping us and enabling us to send these college-bound seniors off with something good. Maybe some gourmet ramen, or even if they're lucky, that those good sardines and anyway. So let's just keep this thing moving, y'all. Now, earlier you heard me talk about Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity being the best fraternity out there. And while there is some validity to that, I got to be honest, we can't do it without our other fraternity brothers and sisters. We all know about the Divine Nine, also known as the National Pan-Hellenic Council. And I just want to give some love to all of these organizations because they do so much for their communities. And it's always great to work with them and consolidate our efforts in order to better our communities and our young brothers and sisters. So I would like to acknowledge all of them right now. Just take a moment to acknowledge all of the Divine Nine. The ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. The men of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. The men of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. The ladies of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. The men of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. The ladies of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. The ladies of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. men of Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated. So once again, shout out to the Divine Nine, the Pan-Hellenic Council, for all the work that they do. These Greek organizations, and obviously the Black Greek organizations, what I'm talking about here, a lot of times, people see the stepping, they see the dancing, the twirling, and all these other things, which are great. Don't get it twisted. Those are great things, but I don't want people to lose sight of the fact that all of these organizations that I just mentioned, they're about service. They're about business, and they're about making their communities a better place. And that's why I like working together with all of them in order to better our communities. And I got to say, I'll be honest. I grew up in a Greek home. My mother is a Delta. My father is an Alpha. So ever since birth, I was exposed to Greek organizations. But I'll tell you this, I was not exposed to them like I was when I went off to Atlanta, Georgia to go to college. That was a whole other world of Greek organizations and culture that I experienced as a freshman there in that camp. I was overwhelmed with everything that these Greek organizations were doing. Not just the stepping, even though the stepping was pretty bad. And I got to say, those code brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha, them brothers can step. But all the Greek organizations in general, just seeing the work that they've been doing, pouring back into the lives of younger individuals. I remember as a kid growing up, going to Alpha Academy and just seeing other Black men there that were all about empowering the youth and making sure education was a priority for young Black males. So just a wonderful thing. So shout out to all the Greek organizations, the Divine Nine. We appreciate all the work that you guys do, and we love working with all of you guys to make this world a better place. All right, so moving on there. It gives me great honor, actually, to introduce the brother of the hour. This is an incredible brother right here, and I can build him up and talk all about him for the next 2 or 3 minutes, but we ain't got time for that. So it gives me great honor, great privilege to introduce to you guys the chairman of the SAC Alpha's scholarship program, the Brother Edward Jones.
I am the Edward Jones, chair of the Alpha Phi Alpha Zeta Beta Lambda Scholarship Committee. Go to high school, go to college is one of our fraternity's national programs. This scholarship is Zeta Beta Lambda's contribution to that effort. The criteria for selection for this scholarship are academic excellence, participation and leadership in extracurricular activities, and contributions to the African American community. Now, these students' essays and the responses to the interview questions were on point. But rather than my telling you about them, they can speak for themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2022 Zeta Beta Lambda Scholars.
Hello, I'm Eleanor Washington, and I'm a senior at Pleasant Grove High School in Elk Grove, California. In the fall of 2022, I plan to attend Smith College and major in neuroscience with a pre-med focus and minor in Spanish. One quote that inspires me is, "The most common way that people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any," by Alice Walker.
Hi, my name is Loriah Jackson. I now attend St. Francis Catholic High School. I've been accepted into Howard University, Loyola, Maryland, as well as others. I plan to major in vocal performance with a concentration in classical music. Until we dream of life and life becomes a dream, Stevie Wonder.
My name is Etinosa Amorgeva, and I currently attend Laguna Creek High School, and I will be attending the University of California, Irvine, with the intended major of biological sciences. A quote that I live by is, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams," by Eleanor Roosevelt.
Hey everybody, my name is Santana Williams. I go to Grant Union High School, home of the Pacers. Some schools I've been accepted into are UC Berkeley, UC San Diego, UC Davis, Oregon University, the University of Alabama, and Sac State. I plan on majoring in bioengineering, and one quote I live by is "Fortune favors the bold" by the Roman poet Virgil.
Hi, my name is Grace Jaguna, and I'm a senior at Wood Creek High School. The schools I've been accepted to are UC San Diego, UC Santa Cruz, and UC Irvine. My intended major is business economics, and a quote for me is by J. Cole: "Don't stop fighting and don't stop believing. You can make the world better for your kids before you leave it."
Hi, my name is Anise Cole. I'm a senior at Laguna Creek High School. This fall, I will be attending San Jose State University and majoring in psychology. A quote that I live by is "Keep your face always towards the sunshine and your shadows will fall behind you" by Walt Whitman.
Hello, my name is Gabriel Berry. I'm a senior at Jesuit High School. I will be attending San Diego State University and majoring in civil engineering. A quote that I live by is "You will face many defeats in life, but never let yourself be defeated" by Maya Angelou.
And congratulations to our scholars. Aren't they amazing? I thank you for your generous donations. They will help our students as they move forward in their college careers. And now I turn the program back to our Master of Ceremony.
Well, how about that? Thank you so much, Brother Edward Jones, for that. And real quick, I just want to let y'all know, being the chairman of the scholarship program is nothing easy. And the Brother Edward Jones has done a phenomenal job with that, all the hard work that he pours into that. So I can't acknowledge him let's give him a round of applause one more time. All right. And while we're giving out round of applauses, how about our new 2022 scholars? Now that's a good looking group. Don't y'all agree? Bless those young people as they go on and soar, as they continue to carry their educational choices and advanced education as they go on to their institutions. So congratulations to those new 2022 scholars. Y'all a wonderful group there. And we wish you the best. And we will be here every step of the way. See, this isn't something where we just give them a check and say, good luck, you're on your way. Oh, no. We keep in contact. We're all about helping them out throughout the process. So congratulations to our 2022 scholars. And once again, the Brother Edward Jones, we appreciate all of your work and your service with the scholarship program. All right, y'all. I don't know about y'all, but I think we can go for a little entertainment here. You know, I'm definitely ready for a little bit of entertainment. So before we get to that, let me introduce who we're going to be bringing out here. So we have Celebration Arts Kids Time program. And what this program is, it's all about introducing youth to the arts, theater, music, dance. Because let's be real, we have a lot of talented young brothers and sisters out there. We're just filled with talented brothers and sisters. So this is a wonderful program, Kids Time, that enables and encourages these young people to tap in to their artistic gifts and artistic talents, whether that's singing, whether that's dancing, whether that's acting. 3 things I can't do. But we really want to encourage our youth, because you never know, out of this group can become the next the next Denzel Washington, the next Halle Berry, the next Lionel Richie, our frat brother, by the way, Alpha. But at any rate, we want to encourage them to go on and do bigger and better things. Now, I want to real quick, I want to talk about what they're going to perform here. Their performance is going to be on something historical that happened some 100 plus years ago. We all know Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois very well, and what they've done to advance education for African Americans. But let's just say at one point in time, they had different philosophies about how to educate our youth and what to prioritize and put an emphasis on. You had one, Booker T. Washington, who was all about how to use our hands, whether that's working trade jobs or skilled jobs, anything where you're using your hands. And he was all about enlightening and setting a path for us to work in those kind of industries. Where W.E.B. Du Bois, he was all about the brain and all about using your intellect in order to set out your profession, whether you want to enter law, medicine, engineering, whatever it is. He was all about using the brain. And this is the way I look at it, y'all. How come we can't use both? We are talented people. We have gifts with our hands. We have gifts with our brain. We have gifts with our feet. Dancing, that is. Well, most of us have rhythm, maybe not all of us. But at any rate, we can combine all of those traits. But at one point in time, this was a little bit of a debate going on between Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois. So this performance you're getting ready to see actually highlights and brings to life that disagreement that they had back then. So with no further ado, I'm going to shut up right now so you can see this wonderful performance by Kids Time.
Hi, my name is Richard Lucero Mattis. Mr. Booker Taliaferro Washington, as known as Booker T. Washington, and Dr. William Edward Burghardt Du Bois, as known as W.E.B. Du Bois, were two of the most influential African American leaders during the late 19th and 20th centuries. Both men agreed on the importance of education, but had opposing philosophies on the type of education needed to obtain self-sufficiency and eventually gain equal rights in America. Mr. Washington, born in the South and into slavery in 1856, was the founder of Tuskegee University. He promoted agricultural, vocational, and industrial education. Dr. Du Bois, born in the North and after slavery in 1868, was the first African American to earn a Doctor of Philosophy from Harvard University. He was also one of the founders of the NAACP, the National Association of the Advancement of Colored People, and a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Dr. Du Bois promoted liberal, classical education. Even today in the 21st century, people are still debating the best type of education. Let's listen to the viewpoints of Mr. Washington and Dr. Du Bois through the poem Booker T. and W.E.B. written by Dudley Randall and performed by Njamio, C.J. Richardson, and Joaquin Vincent de Grace.
It seems to me, said Booker T, that shows a mighty lot of cheek to study chemistry and Greek when Mr. Charlie needs a hand to hold the cotton on his land, or when Miss Ann looks for a cook. Why stick your nose inside the book?
I don't agree, said W.E.B. If I should have the drive to seek knowledge of chemistry or Greek, I'll do it. Charles the Mist can look another place for hand or cook. Some men rejoice in skill of hand, and some in cultivating land, but there are others who maintain the right to cultivate the brain.
It seems to me, said Booker T, that all you folks have missed the boat to shout about the right to vote and spend vain days and sleepless nights in an uproar over civil rights. So just shut your mouths and do not grouse, but work and save and buy a house.
I don't agree, said W.E.B. For what can property avail if dignity and justice fail? Unless you write the laws, they'll steal your house with trumped-up claws. A rope's as tight, a fire's as hot, no matter how much cash you've got. Speak soft and try your little plan, but as for me, I'll be a man.
It seems to me, said Booker T.
I don't agree, said W.E.B.
Well, how about that? Weren't they good? Weren't those children incredible right there? I was definitely moved by that performance, and I'm sure you guys were moved by that as well. Once again, those were the children of the Celebration Arts Kids Time program. Incredible performance there. And see, that's why I think this program is so beneficial for our youth and just for training our youth, because this program introduces our youth to arts, the dramatic arts, performing arts, dancing, singing. And as you see, our children are so gifted in those areas. So it's important to have a program like this to help our youth see some of that untapped potential they have artistically, or untapped potential they have dramatically, musically, performance-wise, because we are a talented people, in case you didn't know. So with that being said, we thank them so much for just training our children in the arts and in those areas, because let's be real, our children can be out doing other things, getting into mischief, or there's so many other distractions that young people can get into. So that's why it's so wonderful to have a program like this, where these young kids can definitely tap into something that they are skilled, gifted, and talented in. I'm inspired by that. Matter of fact, I may have to call Celebration Arts to see if they have like a big kid time that I can join, because I think I'm a little too old to join the kid time. But hey, if y'all got room for someone in their late 30s, you let me know. All right. So anyway, with that being said, let's keep this program moving, shall we? This next person I'm going to introduce is another brother of the hour. See, we have multiple brothers of the hours. We just have a lot of brothers of the hour, but this is another important brother of the hour. This was an individual who played a pivotal role in me joining the chapter. He has just been our leader, our fearless leader, and he has done so many things, not just in our chapter, but in the community, to give back and to make sure that Zeta Beta Lambda stays afloat and does the job and service that it's supposed to be doing. So with no further ado, it gives me great honor, great privilege to introduce the chairman of the SAC Alpha's Superior Honoree Award Program. He's our president, y'all. Put your hands together for Brother Virgil Torrance.
Our first 2022 Superior Award honoree is Shauna McDaniels. Shauna McDaniels is a native of Sacramento, California. She founded the Sojourner Truth Art Museum in 1996. In addition to her executive director's duties, Mrs. McDaniels was one of the co-founders and artists of the Visual Art Development Project, teaching art classes, conducting workshops, and organizing art exhibits throughout the Oak Park and Del Paso communities. Mrs. McDaniels is a highly qualified professional artist that has an extensive background in art instructions and mural design. She also has over 25 years of managerial and executive experience from both the business and nonprofit sectors, including community organizing with various organizations that support arts through exhibits, community activisms, murals, and community-based festivities. Today, we have Ms. Alpha Bruton, who will accept the award for Shauna McDaniels.
Good evening. I'm Alpha Breton. I am the Chief Curator for the Phantom Gallery Chicago Network. I'm located here in the Legacy District of the Bronzeville Art District, one of the largest African American art districts in the nation. I'm here today to talk a little bit about Shauna McDaniels and the Sojourner Truth African Heritage Museum. But first, I'd like to thank the Sacramento chapter of the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity for their decision to honor Shauna, and also to congratulate the 2022 scholars and offer hope toward their new beginnings. Shauna McDaniels is a native of Sacramento. She founded the Sojourner Truth African Heritage Museum in 1996. In addition, when I met Shauna, she was a co-founder and artist for the Visual Art Development Project, where we produced the 1994 African American Arts Summit, galvanizing African American artists, art educators, art historians, and leaders in the field to discuss issues that impact arts and culture throughout California. The museum is based in South Sacramento. Its legacy throughout the Sacramento region is renowned to grassroots organizations, professional artists, politicians, and business community. Shona is a highly qualified professional artist that has an extensive background in art instruction and mural design. She has over 25 years of executive experience from both the business and nonprofit sectors. She is also a muralist, and she has a large portfolio of murals in the Sacramento landscape. One of the largest projects that Shona will be executing this summer is the Florin Road Beautification Project, which is a placemaking project that will transform the Florin Road into a cultural district. And I'd like to thank the Phi Alpha fraternity for your decision to honor Shona McDaniels as a Superior Award honoree for 2022.
Our next 2022 Superior Award honoree is Mr. James Shelby Sr. Mr. Shelby ventured into public service as a city council member for the city of Citrus Heights, California. During his 12 years on the city council, he led the city 4 times as mayor of Citrus Heights, California. While serving on the city council, Mr. Shelby became president and CEO of the Greater Sacramento Urban League. He executed responsibility and leadership efforts over a 17-year period. Mr. Shelby's business leadership gained the Sacramento Urban League multiple major corporation sponsorship by creating a multi-million-dollar financial base for the city of Citrus Heights. James Shelby is a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Zeta Beta Lambda chapter in Sacramento. He has received multiple community awards as a result of his consistent public service. I present to you Mr. James Shelby Sr.
Good evening. First of all, I want to thank the brothers of Zeta Beta Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha for honoring me with this superior award. My whole life has been focused on manly deeds, scholarship, and love for all mankind. That has been my aim and my focus. First of all, I'd like to thank my family for their support through all of my endeavors. I could not have done it without them. And I'm most proud of having a successful family where all of my siblings have graduated from college and they're now productive citizens in our society. And so from Urban League to the City Council, my main focus has been to make sure that African Americans have a seat at the table. We were uplifting young people in our community with dropout students had nowhere to go. We transformed their lives. We had 300 dropout students in a 3-year contract that we had at 86% success rate. And most of the kids went to jobs, military, employment, or college. And so for that, I wanted to say thank you to the Greater Sacramento Urban League. And then to my Citrus Heights career as a council member and mayor, I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to insist that diversity was at the table. So in the city that was 92% white, we ended up with a city manager who was African American and a deputy city manager who was African American. For 20 years, they ran the city and never had a deficit in our budget. And for that, I'm thankful to God for giving me a seat at the table to make a difference in the lives of people in the Sacramento community. May God bless you, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much for that, Brother Virgil Torrance, just a man who is on a mission and does so much for this chapter of ZBL and the community. And also, congratulations to the 2022 Superior Award honorees. Each and every one of you guys, I cannot thank you enough for what you have been doing to build our communities and to serve in our communities. You guys are the wind beneath the wings. You make it all happen. Actually, you guys are the wings too, because you're soaring and servicing with your soaring as well. So thank you so much for all the service that you guys have been doing. This is incredible. And, you know, kind of like I touched on earlier in this, the thing about Alpha Phi Alpha and ZBL, SAC Alphas, is that we're not just about stepping and looking good, which, you know, we do that easily, but our main thing is we're about service. That is one of the main things, the principles of Alpha is all about service to mankind. And the reason I say that is because even though I've only been in the chapter for a couple of years, and the 2 years that I had been with SAC Alphas, seeing the service that they are committed to doing in the community. As a matter of fact, just last year, this was during the pandemic. Last year, I remember meeting them at a church in South Sacramento, and they were there for hours, and we were there giving out food, resources, clothing to those in our less fortunate communities who had a need for that. And that's just one of many things that I've seen SAC Alphas do firsthand as far as building their communities and making their communities a better place. So I really want you guys to know, and I can't beat down enough just how much SAC Alphas are committed to recognizing community services and efforts by individuals who are also helping out. Because another thing is, even if we're not servicing, we facilitate servicing to make sure that we have plenty of people in order to service the needs of others. So like I said, we don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk, and you better believe that. All right. Well, speaking of walking the walk, we're going to bring out somebody who is going to do more than walk a walk. They're going to blow us away with the performance. The SAC Alphas are extremely fortunate to have a special guest join our program. And I got to say this, there's actually a specific bio that I'm going to read because I don't want to mess this up. You cannot mess up her bio, because if I messed up her bio, it would be all bad for me, and we don't want that happening. So I'm just going to read her bio verbatim because she deserves that honor. Miss Teresa Keene is a powerhouse, a filling, a rare pianist of astounding precision and expressiveness. Now, she is a native Sacramentan and one of today's most brilliant and highly respected concert pianists. Now, she is one of a few African-American concert pianists in Northern California. She has performed at concerts in Switzerland, Vienna, New York, and everywhere in between. Miss Keene has dedicated over 50 years of giving to her community through performing astounding concerts and teaching students from ages 4 all the way up to over 90. Now, currently, she is excited to accept new students as well. She has served 24 years as principal keyboardist for the Sacramento Philharmonica Orchestra. I'm sure we all heard of that, where she was responsible for playing harpsichord. I don't even know if I said that instrument right. If I didn't say it right, forgive me. But also celesta, pipe organ, and piano. Now, an audience member said, quote, Teresa Keene is by far the best pianist I have seen in years, end quote. And that's with an exclamation point too, I should say that. Now, Miss Keene says, quote, if it had not been for God's grace and the extreme sacrifices made by my parents, Mr. and Mrs. Leonard and Frances Keene, I would not be the woman, teacher, or pianist I am today, end quote. Well, I love that because I truly, truly believe God's grace and loving and supportive parents are the reason why any of us made it to where we're at today. So with no further ado, you heard her bio, you heard how amazing she is. I think it's time to go ahead and bring her out so you can see how amazing she is. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Miss Teresa Keene.
Brava, brava, brava. Excellent, students. I am so very, very proud of you. You've really done a phenomenal job. All those hard, long hours of studying paid off. It was not in vain. So just a couple of things. Just to remember that you don't have to be a perfectionist at anything, that God is the only perfect person. And then remember, stand in your integrity, even if the person works your last nerve. Stand in your integrity and always be humble. Mom said this, Teresa, I know you want to be a concert pianist, but you have to be able to work with people. So when you come to a rehearsal, you don't want the people that are holding their violins, etc. They see you in the doorways. Oh my God, it's Teresa. How fast can we get through this rehearsal? Or you always have someone that's going to be better than you or not as good as you. And so the point was, my roommate, I was always in her practice room making copious notes. She was phenomenal. And I think that what God wants us to do is just be an encouragement to others. Reach back and grab somebody else. There's a student of mine that in the cafeteria, she saw two students that were sitting by themselves. And she went over to both of them, each individually, and said, would you like to be my friend? And they, of course, looked at her almost like, what? And she said, would you like to join us? And so those individuals have been in her group since the beginning. She's a sophomore in high school, in the beginning of her school year. So the main thing is that whenever you're going for a job interview or any of that, that God gave you that, and you stand on the shoulders of your parents who sacrificed for you. So the case in point, at 16, I wanted to quit lessons. I was tired, not tired. When I came to the kitchen table, they were eating. I said, I'd like to say something. The forks went down, and my father, who looked very, very serious and usually doesn't, he said, and what do you have to say? And I said, I want to quit lessons. He said, over my dead body. Because Dad, and they continued to eat, because Dad was taking me to lessons in Berkeley every week. And so was Mom to Palo Alto. And those high heels in Berkeley, he would throw up before the piano lesson. And I want to quit lessons? Oh, no. So it's all about when you want to give up, don't quit. That's just Satan talking. He knows that you're right on the cusp of just making it big. Know that you are special. You're special. You're too special to lose. You have so much to give to us. And thank you, Mr. Shelby and Ms. McDaniels, for your brilliant service to the community. God bless you all.
Wow. Now, I told y'all Miss King was going to be good, but she just blew us away there. Once again, Miss Teresa King. Incredible performance. She has me wishing I never stopped playing the piano. But thank you for those words of wisdom for the youth, for the kids. That speech was phenomenal. We're so blessed that you were part of our program this year. So once again, for Miss King, we appreciate that. All right, guys. Well, like they say, all good things come to an end. And unfortunately, that's the same thing with this program as well. We are wrapping things up here. But, before we go, I just want to congratulate all of the scholars, all of the honorees, to all of the 2022 scholar honorees and all of that. I just want to say to all the scholars out there, you're getting ready to embark on a incredible journey as you go off to your next institution and you start your matriculation there. So I just want to tell all of you guys, continue up, as we all know, upward and onward, but we want you guys to continue assuring, but we want you to give back as well. Remember to always pay it forward, no matter how far you go in life, no matter how far. And we have some talented scholars this year, so we know they're going far and doing big things. So we just want to encourage you to always pay it forward to the next group of young scholars as well. And we will be there with you every step of the way. This is not something where we just send you off and say, good luck with your life. We're here every step of the way if you need anything. And matter of fact, we want you guys to do big things. So once again, congratulations to all of our scholars. And let's, congratulations to all the entertainment from the evening. I would like to start off with those who did the National Black Hymn, the U.S. Army Field Band and 82nd Airborne Chorus. Thank you so much for that incredible performance that you gave us. You guys set the tone for the evening. And also, I want to give you a special thank you for your service and what you're doing for this country. As you keep us all safe and protect us all, thank you so much for your service. With that being said, also want to thank of course, the Nine Divine, the National Panhellenic Council. All of you guys, thank you so much for your contributions and for being here. We thank you for your support and all that you're doing for our young brothers and sisters in the community. You know, there's a saying, it takes a village. And the National Panhellenic Council is definitely that village for these young brothers and sisters. So thank all of you guys for being here, and thank you for your contributions. We couldn't make it without you. Also, of course, this program would not be possible without the chairman of the SAC Alpha Scholarship Program, the Brother Edward Jones. Thank you, Brother Jones, for all of your work, your service, and everything that you've done in order to chair this program. We know this is not easy. This is a lot of work, and y'all, let me tell you, it is a lot of work, and he put in a lot of hours for that. Also, shout out to our entertainment, our first entertainment of the program, of course, the Celebration Arts Kids Time program. Those young performers are going to do amazing things, and it was so great to have them be part of this particular program. Also, shout out to Celebration Arts Theater for having the program and pouring into these young kids and their artistic goals and all of that stuff. So thank you so much, and please continue to support Celebration Arts Theater. Also, of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about this brother, the chairman of the Superior Honoree Award Program. Of course, our fearless leader, our president, Brother Virgil Torrance. Brother Torrance, this brother is the definition of service. He always goes above and beyond. He has served as our president for several years, and his work shall not be unacknowledged. So, Brother Torrance, we acknowledge you and all the hard work that you've done. Also, I want to acknowledge the fact too that Brother Torrance actually has a pet bird. So he's not only like a all-star when it comes to volunteering and being a president. He's an animal whisperer as well. You know, he's Dr. Doolittle Part 2, the better version. But Brother Torrance, we appreciate all of your hard work for everything that you do. And also, with that being said, congratulations to our Superior Award honorees this year as well. Thanks for the service that you guys do in the communities and what you do to give back, to enlighten and empower our youth. It takes a village, and you guys are part of that village. And of course, like I already said, Miss Teresa King for capping us off with that wonderful entertainment performance there. That was good. I'm going to start learning how to play the piano now again because of you. So thank you so much. And before we get out of here, y'all, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge this brother for all of his hard work behind the scenes. You may not see him out on any of this program, but he put this whole thing together. Of course, I'm talking about Brother McGelvey. Brother McGelvey Arthur, excuse me. And first, for his hard work, he had the vision of this program a long time ago, and he has worked tirelessly around the clock. And when I say around the clock, I got emails from him late at night, early in the morning. I don't even know if Brother McKelvey sleeps. But at any rate, we thank him so much for all of his hard work, because this program would not have been possible without the hard work that he put into it. All right, y'all. Well, with that, I hope to have the opportunity to see you guys in person next year or online. We don't know what it's going to be yet next year, but we hope to see you guys there in 2023 as we acknowledge and celebrate our scholars again. And guys, I leave you with this. Thank you for joining. Be kind to each other, love one another, and do something special. And once again, continue to be of service as this whole night and evening has been. So y'all, I don't know about you, but there's only one way to close this show out, and that's with our hymn, the Alpha Hymn. Once again, thank you all so much for coming. It has been a joy having you. Thanks for putting up with me the last hour or so. It has been a blessing. You guys have yourselves a phenomenal evening. Onward and upward. God bless. And we'll see you next year.
Fraternal spirit binds all the noble, the true and courageous, manly deeds, scholarship, and love for all mankind are the aims of our dear fraternity. Phi Alpha, the pride of our hearts, and loved by us dearly art thou. We cherish thy precepts, thy banner shall be raised. To thy glory, thy honor and renown. College days swiftly pass, imbued with memories fond, and the recollection slowly fades away. Our renowned AIA and dear fraternal bond, may they ever abide with us stay. Alpha, Phi Alpha, the pride of our hearts, and loved by us dearly art thou. We cherish thy precepts, thy banner shall be raised. To thy glory, thy